who are the best NFL free agents here? There were so many. Again, I think there's legit, like there's 50 on most articles that I use for research and just digging into the league in general. But there's definitely more than that. I have compiled my tier 1 NFL free agents, and on on this Friday's show, we will have our tier 2 NFL free agents, just like we have our tier 2 NFL rookies as well. Of course, at number 1, we have Lamar Jackson, quarterback for the Ravens, 26 years young. The Ravens would love to keep him. Apparently, they're $100 million apart in contract talks. Make sure y'all hit up the YouTube channel for that. Just posted a YouTube short and all over social media on that before we went live. Lamar's wanting a lot of money. He's wanting some guaranteed money, and he hasn't finished his last 2 seasons healthy. You look at some other quarterbacks in the league who got extensions. There's actually 6 quarterbacks specifically that I named in that episode that got extensions. They didn't work out. So the Ravens have a claim. The Ravens have been burned before. We remember when they paid Joe Flacco. Everyone freaked the hell out about that. I'm not saying it would happen, but I think the Ravens would entertain letting Lamar Jackson walk, or obviously looking for a trade for him if it came down to the nitty-gritty. I believe Lamar Jackson will be a Baltimore Raven, though. Number 2 here is Saquon Barkley, running back for the New York Giants, 25 years young. A very important, explosive, and healthy season for him because a lot of people were calling him a bust. People were just doubting him. People forget that even in his second year hurt as a rookie, he still ran for 1,000 yards. And unfortunately, I thought that his career might be over, not because I doubted him, but just because how hard it was for him to actually stay healthy. Man, I'm telling y'all, there's nothing like that. Not pre or post show, during show water. Nothing like it, bro. I'm telling you. But again, Saquon Barkley, I know what he's capable of. He can beat you on the outside. He can run between the tackles. He can, pass catch. He's a scoring machine when he needs to be. So Saquon Barkley is a tier 1 NFL free agent for me. We've got Josh Jacobs as well. And Josh Jacobs won the rushing title this year with 1,653 yards, also led the league with 393 touches in general and 2,053 all-purpose yards. So 400 yards on the dot receiving. He is a very, very special back in this league. Just clearly played his life out this year. I think impressed a lot of people. I would love to see a running back like Josh Jacobs get more opportunities, whether it's with the Raiders or other teams in the league. But this is going to be a tier 1 NFL free agent for me. Tony Pollard, of course, running back for the Cowboys, age 26. Great season all the way around. There were talks and rather confirmed reports that Zeke Elliott was restructuring his contract. But we've seen Tony Pollard. He's explosive. He's got a lot of power. He's got some great receiving that unfortunately ended up having him break his left fibula in the playoffs. We absolutely hated to see that. But there's a chance that he could explore free agency if Ezekiel Elliott is going to be expected to return. But Tony Pollard overall, being with the Cowboys, it would still create for a great running back backfield, running back tandem, duo, whatever you want to call it. But he could get some awesome looks from other NFL teams as well because he's proven his case. Some of y'all might not agree with me, but I got Miles Sanders as a tier 1 NFL free agent here. He's coming off, again, a healthy and explosive career best season with 1,269 yards rushing and 11 touchdowns on the ground. Now, people are going to call him, a fine, maybe a mid-volume runner at that, and he can be inconsistent, unfortunately, and doesn't offer much in the passing game when you really get to looking at the tape and get to looking at the numbers. But you can't deny 1,269 yards rushing and 11 touchdowns in one of the most balanced leagues in the NFL, in one of the most balanced teams in the NFL, and the Eagles. Clearly he was just performing very well. And with guys like Jalen Hurts getting carries, with guys like Boston Scott getting carries, Miles Sanders still being able to put up these numbers is absolutely remarkable. Another one here, Jesse Bates, tier 1 NFL free agent for the Bengals, safety, age 25. We know that he's a great run stopper. We've seen that on the tape. We've seen that in the numbers for the defensive stops that he accounts for as well. But apparently, he will not return to Cincinnati after being franchise tagged in 2023. He's also pretty reliable at making plays and coverage as well. So Jesse Bates, I feel like, has made a good name for himself here in the last couple of years, especially with the Bengals being a younger player, being on a team that's been getting a lot of looks. He could have got himself a bag in other places, and I don't know where Jesse Bates could go. I'd like to see him at Bengal again because I know he's one of their biggest players, but nonetheless, he will be a free agent this year. Want to check back to the chat, make sure I'm not forgetting about anyone. Some saying high-profile safety. Yeah, that would be good for Atlanta. Yes, I need to look for some no restrictions property to put a tiny home or a big RV one. I will be in touch with you on that soon. Sounds great, man. You already know we're here. Look at that lead generation during the show. Will take it. Running back out of Philly to the Fins. That could be huge. That could be absolutely major. If Miles Sanders does potentially go to what's it called? To Miami, that would be major. Now, Javon Hargrave, he almost made my tier 2 list or almost dropped to the tier 2 list, but I can't deny that he had the career high 11 sacks. He is age 29, so that age is going to concern you when it comes to, getting him some money, putting him into a system that's going to require more snaps of him. Maybe he's kind of in a plug and play role, but nonetheless, defensive tackle for the Eagles, age 29. He's shown that he can get upfield, that he can get to the quarterback, that he can provide that inside pressure, and he's done it well for 3 seasons now in Philadelphia. So let's see what happens. He's going to be testing free agency. Philadelphia, there's a lot of talks about, are they frauds? What are they going to bring back? This, that, and the third. He would be a key piece to bring back here, and he is going to be one NFL free agent. Maybe my favorite linebacker in the league right now. I've always loved this guy. Maybe it's the name. Maybe it's the way he plays. It's damn sure not for the Cowboys and who he plays for. Leighton Vander Esch, linebacker, 25 years young for the Dallas Cowboys. He has really settled in as a premier coverage linebacker in this league. He just matches up well with a lot of people. Just really gives me that presence. Like he's not going to be a Brian Urlacher. He's not going to be a Luke Kuechly. He's not going to be a Fred Warner, but he is going to be a solid guy that you can depend on him in the middle to have coverage. He can stop the run. He's quick from edge to edge. And he's just overall, a top linebacker in this league, and him hitting free agency, he's going to be able to go get a paycheck as well. Definitely makes my tier 1. We've also got a guard for the Eagles here, Isaac Seumalo, age 29. I'm sure y'all are wondering where Jason Kelce's at, but Jason Kelce has been with the Eagles since 2011, 12, not sure. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He's been on 2 Super Bowl, both of the Super Bowl teams of the last few years. He was one of the only ones to make it from the last Super Bowl team to this one. So I don't believe that he would go anywhere else. He's either going to be an Eagle again, or he's going to retire like we've had rumors of with the retirement. So I did keep Jason Kelce off this list, but he would be a tier 1 nonetheless. We got Isaac Seumalo, again, guard for the Eagles, age 29, another very strong interior piece of that Philadelphia line on the inside, which was the league's best, it felt like, for that offensive line. We saw that defensive line, of course, just talking with Javon Hargrave, had 70 sacks. But Isaac Seumalo being on this O-line, providing that protection for Jalen Hurts, helping create those holes for Miles Sanders and Boston Scott, and just, again, helping contribute to the most balanced team and really the most balanced offense in the NFL. Can't knock it. James Bradberry, y'all probably don't want to agree with me here being a tier 1 NFL free agent, but I do believe that he is. He was major for the Eagles this year. I get it. Recency bias. He's stained by the holding call in the Super Bowl, but he was a great pickup playing on the other side of Darius Slay. And you found that he was able to play that shutdown role and that ball hawking role in that groove in his coverage game again. And I get it. Everyone's going to throw him out. Everyone's going to forget about what he's done. Everybody's going to forget about how well he actually played this year and how great the pickup was from Philadelphia because of the holding call in the Super Bowl. Juju, you're petty as hell, by the way, for saying I'll hold you anytime you need it, or whatever you said, bro. Yeah, we're going back and forth. AJ Brown jumped in. Man, that was crazy for sure. But we're down to our last couple players here. Again, James Bradberry is going to be a tier 1 NFL free agent for me. Jamel Dean, cornerback with the Buccaneers, age 26. He's 6'1", 206 pounds, so he's very stout. He's sized up well. He's got physical coverage in this league, and he can also provide you some great run support as well. We've seen Jamel Dean be one of these not very highly acclaimed corners, but he does grade out well in the NFL. And again, he's got good size. He can be a little sticky. He can play tough at the line, and I feel like that's a lot of that Buccaneers defensive culture. I could see him being a Buck again, no doubt about it. And I almost wanted to put Lavonte David as well on my top. I almost wanted to put Lavonte David as well on top of or on the tier 1, but Lavonte David I think is 33 or 34 if I'm not mistaken. So just getting a little older there for the free agents as well. And then the last one here, Dalton Schultz, tight end for the Cowboys, age 26. A lot of NFC East players on here, specifically Cowboys and Eagles. Schultz played on the franchise tag this year as a key target for Dak Prescott, and we saw a couple of seasons ago that he was actually able to provide well in the fantasy game, doing well in touchdowns. I think he had a career year of about 900 yards and 9 touchdowns, give or take on the yards and touchdowns there. But Dalton Schultz is going to be a tier 1 free agent for me. I do believe he is. I know he's not going to be a Mark Andrews or a Travis Kelce or a George Kittle or a Darren Waller or any of that, right? But Dalton Schultz has great size. He's got great hands. I think he's a solid route runner, and just overall, I see him making plays out there for the Cowboys. He's a good asset to this team. I'd like to see him be a Cowboy again. I wouldn't even mind if he came over to my New Orleans Saints, since he's going to be a free agent, but he's solid. I think anyone that has the chance to go out and get Dalton Schultz really shouldn't be upset about it. And just honestly, that is what it is. So for my tier 1 NFL free agents, Dalton Schultz, Jamel Dean, James Bradbury, Isaac Samalo, Leighton Vander Esch, Javon Hargrave, Jesse Bates, Miles Sanders, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson. Rewind the tape if I said it too fast.